Alright, welcome back to Roguetech, and welcome back to your first playthrough. So, as I said, not a whole lot to think about. Just keeping the Hornet away from things that could shoot it.
Acknowledged.
And kick it and whatnot. And just destroying the buildings with it, or starting to destroy the buildings with it. As I work on finishing off the Irby and the turret. Worth noting, I don't know if it still does, because I haven't in a while, but if you destroy the last of the objective buildings in a destroy base, and you haven't destroyed all the turrets, it may evac you? Possibly? Maybe? There's a chance? Not sure. And then you won't get the bonus pay for finishing off the last of the turrets, but yeah, I'm just gonna keep running away from the Irby with the Trocer and shooting him.
Roger that.
Or shooting at him, I should say. I do need to be careful of stray shots, actually, now that I think about it. Because that is the actual meaningful threat that's left for my team, is if I accidentally blow myself up. So, I'm gonna avoid doing that. Let's not and say we did. But yes, I should be able to fire both medium lasers every round to continue. I mean, I'm kind of tempted to go overheat here, in part for science.
Hot damn, let's do this.
Okay, so once again, we're hot. We did not shut down. We did not explode.
Yes, Commander.
Again, we're going to keep the Hornet where it can't be shot by anything else. Although I am going to try to get the building in outside of minimum range so that we get full hit chance on it. Again, just making sure that we don't
Order acknowledged.
let the turret that's left shoot us, because we are open, and I don't want to deal with crits. Alright. Now this should finish off the last turret. Should. Probably. Most likely.
Here we go.
There we go. Beautiful. Warfare Suite Quick Sell. Okay, so that's less interesting than other, you know, other warfare suites, other electronic warfare systems. Yeah, it should be safe-ish.
Let's go. Negative damage.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that Irby, he trying to kick my tank. I don't want him to kick my tank. So I'm gonna kind of peel off my assassin to go also deal with him. Just trying to not stray shot anyone, trying to destroy the buildings. The stealth is good to just kind of fire, whatever. There is a chance reinforcements might drop once I destroy the buildings. That's not outside the realm of possibilities. Actually, hold on. That's a medium? Okay. So those are both medium. Yeah, then I'll go ahead and shoot this one.
Confirmed.
Also, it's important to make sure if you have masks that you've used to turn them off. Because I know there have been missions in the past where I have unfortunately blown up a mask or supercharger, or you know, had them crit after the mission was already effectively over because I went goldfish.
Hey there.
It happens. And yeah, literally nothing left to do but destroy the turrets, finish off the not turrets, destroy the buildings, finish off the Irby, and go home.
Target confirmed. Mechwarriors. Show 'em
And our Mechwarriors are not skilled enough to hit turrets reliably. Cool. I'm actually gonna go off this way, in part to just try to avoid stray shots, if at all possible.
Firing all weapons.
Alright.
Black on AC-10 ammo.
Irby is soaking a lot of fire, but luckily he's slow enough that we don't really have to worry. And this might be the finishing blow, possibly. Not sure.
Firing
We'll see.
everything I've got.
Yeah, I also have to make sure not to stray shot the Trosser.
Say we take it to him.
Stray shotting the Trosser would be bad because the Trosser is so low on armor. I think in the interest of taking down the buildings faster, I'm gonna use the stealth for that instead of trying to shoot the Irby. Since that is, again, our largest alpha strike.
Yes, Commander.
And we'll be able to destroy buildings faster than any of our other mechs.
Coordinates received.
Just need the one medium laser to finish off.
Good
There we
shot,
go.
Commander. Enemy structure down.
No reinforcements? Okay, no reinforcements yet.
You, Commander.
That's good. Stay on the high ground so that the Irby cannot kick us or, you know, punch us. And shoot.
Commencing Alpha Strike.
Kill confirmed, Commander.
Okay.
And stay down.
Pilot incapacitated.
Yes,
Nice. Not a whole lot left,
Copy
but
that.
it's fine. And then this might... Actually, I should have moved further away because of, again, minimum range.
Leopard inbound.
Okay.
Commander. I'll
And
meet you at
with no enemies remaining, no turrets remaining, and the objective complete, we are gone. Beautiful. Alright, here we are in the post-game debrief, or post-mission debrief again. You'll notice the primary objective, destroy the smuggler base, actually increased our payment by 20%. That happens sometimes whenever the primary objectives increase the payout. And you'll see the destroy local government garrison was a flat 50,000 increase, and destroy base turrets was a 10% increase. So those two percentage increases obviously don't matter that much since we didn't negotiate for basically any C-bill payout. However, it does still help offset the drop cost, ammo cost, and heatsink upkeep and coolant costs. So altogether, we're coming away from this with 132,000 of profit, minus whatever our repair costs are, which honestly not that bad. Like basically all of the damage was taken by our tank and our armor. We didn't lose anything except for a foot as far as crits go. And the little bit of armor and structure repairs, not that big of a deal. And yeah, easy peasy. Now then, we have interesting choices. And we have to make a lot of choices because we actually have 6 priority picks. Amazing. So, we have, based on, you know, the settings I set up with the playthrough, 4 picks to build a vehicle or mech. Which means we could build that Mockingbird. Now, we could also build the Ripper, but again, the Ripper's ECM, the pirate ECM, impacts everyone, not just enemies. So that's less interesting than potentially taking the full Mockingbird. Not to mention the 10-ton VTOL with 160 total armor and 25 total structure versus the 15-ton with double that. Double the armor and double the structure for 5 extra tons of drop weight. Plus it has the bomb clusters and 4 medium lasers instead of just the 1 light PPC with capacitor. And pirate weapons do tend to, you know, explode on you sometimes. But before we commit to that, let's look at what else there is. First of all, AC-10, it's a thing. Bomb cluster, here we go. This is what they dropped at us. Wing mount ordnance reduces movement and jump by 4% per ton of carry capacity or carry weight used. Eject to remove penalty, or I assume just use it. +1 accuracy with the weapon, up to 40 area of effect damage to units in radius. So the total with both of the bombs being launched, if they hit dead center, if the hex they hit is the hex that the enemy's standing in, that's potentially 80 damage. Because the area of effect is going to reduce as it gets further from the point of impact. But 80 damage is not a joke. Like, that is quite a thing. And the area of effect damage within 90 meters, so it's actually a pretty large blast area too. Bonus accuracy against battle armor and protomechs. Bonus damage against battle armor and protomechs. That's pretty cool. Max range is increased by evasive pips. Interesting. And then it mentions ejecting ammo, control click. That's how you eject any ammo. Heavy rifle, this is what I was talking about. The heavy rifle with standard ammo does 25% reduced damage to armor. So it effectively does about the same as an AC5 to armor. Has a recoil of 3. And if you have specialty ammo, it can be potentially really good. But it can also potentially not be so good. But it is lighter than a AC-10. You can see the 60 damage if you're dealing damage to structure, or if you're using special ammunition that lets you do more damage to armor. The 60 damage for 8 tons versus 60 damage for 12 tons. So primitive weapons are a good bit lighter than their inner sphere counterparts. But one of the big downsides is that you have to have the ammo in the same location as the weapon. So you can't really protect the ammo from ammo explosions. You kind of have to have it wherever the ammo for the weapon is. The light PVC with capacitor, so it has a 20% misfire chance when firing in damage or rapid fire mode. So misfire, unlike jam chance, means the weapon gets crit. And if it gets crit, it can be destroyed. Although the critical effects there, if you have 1 crit on it, you get plus 60 to minimum range, plus 20% to minimum range, minus 10% to short, medium, long, and max range. That's a lot. But it does have the ability to fire, RF mode is where it fires twice, so 60 damage for 4 tons. If you can mitigate the misfire chance, it can actually be very powerful. Like most pirate equipment, it can be very powerful if you're able to play into its quirkiness. And you can't early game. You just can't. And actually it has a weapon damage variation, so it's actually 40 to 80 whenever you're firing in RF mode. Yeah, that's potentially a lot of damage for 4 tons, but we have no chance of mitigating 20% misfire right now. So we're going to pass on that. The mag shot cannon. Okay, it does not have a minimum range. Good thing I destroyed it when I did then. Yeah, mag shot based on the AP mag shot Gauss rifles. Volatile, fires 5 rounds per shot. Yeah. 100% bonus critical hit chance with the weapon. Yeah. It's actually pretty good. There's no misfire chance. So that's one thing to note about any Gauss technology is the ammunition itself cannot be crit and explode, but the weapon can be crit and explode because it's using electromagnetism to fire inert metal slugs, basically. And so the high energy capacitors can explode whenever the weapon gets crit, but the ammunition itself cannot be crit and be destroyed through ammo explosion. I'm actually tempted to take that. That's really good. Doubled crit chance, 7 tons to do 70 damage with 5 shots. 5 rounds per shot. So, yeah, that's increased. It's basically increased reliability compared to just a 70 damage pinpoint hit or miss like an AC-10. The double crit chance is also really... I'm going to take it. I hope there's ammo for it too, and I'm absolutely going to waste... There's no ammo for it. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's so unfortunate. I'm still going to take it in case I see mag shot ammo somewhere to buy or grab or snag in any way, shape, or form. That's just so interesting. And it's a good pick because it has the bonus crit chance, but more importantly because it has the 5 shots. So for a ballistic hardpoint, early game, having 5 damage instances instead of just 1 is an improvement. It is higher reliability for a low accuracy shot than just shooting a coin flip hit or miss. Quick Cell Warfare Suite. Electronic warfare protects allies and reduces enemy shield. Yeah. Blocks enemy non-boosted. Protects the carrier. Shield of 1. Enemy jamming 1. EWS probe. Increases sight and sensor. Counters ECM stealth by 1. So it's just the warfare suite quick sells 2 tons, but it still does all the electronic warfare stuff, just not as well as a non-quick sell electronic warfare suite. So I'll absolutely still take that. Stealth X. Stealth. I'm going to talk about stealth when I actually put it on a mech. That's going to be a whole conversation. I might also end up using visual aids of some kind and yada yada yada. Half bin of machine gun ammo is actually interesting, because that would let us save half a ton in a mech that uses machine guns like the Locust. So that's actually really interesting. Plus, if the ammo does explode, there's less ammo to explode. So I am actually going to grab that as well. Now, a lot of people will obviously say, and rightly so, that picking ammo as a priority pick is kind of bad. But in this particular situation, specifically because it will let us have the potential ammo explosion and still have plenty of machine gun ammo for the Locust and save half a ton effectively, that makes it a good pick compared to a lot of this other stuff. Now, yes, by picking all these things, I am preventing myself from picking a full vehicle, which, getting a full additional unit on the board. So here's the thing. To activate Stealth X, to use the Stealth X, all you need is ECM. We have 2 Guardian ECMs. So I think, as interesting as the mag shot cannon is, since I don't have ammunition to run it, I'm going to drop it. And I'm actually going to prioritize saving half a ton on the Locust over the Warfare Suite. In part because that Warfare Suite is only giving a ECM shield of 2 to the carrier for 2 tons, which is, you know, it's helping out the other mechs that aren't carrying it by giving them a shield of 1. And reducing enemy shield of 1 is pretty cool, and the ECM countering ECM and stealth by 1 is pretty cool, but for 2 tons, I would rather just put another Guardian ECM in a mech and then kick it to active. And have half a ton left over. But more importantly, by dropping that and just taking the half bin of machine gun ammo and the Stealth X, that does allow me to take the full Mockingbird, which I think is the more interesting choice. It has 812 movement. It has more armor than our 20-ton mechs. And at the start of the game, unless something changed, I didn't actually pay too close of attention, but I'm pretty sure you start off with 4 mech slots and 2 vehicle slots. So this is an immediate power spike with absolutely no time at all spent repairing, refitting, or otherwise. The Copperhead also would have been interesting to a degree, but the Mockingbird is more interesting. Especially since for 15 tons it has more armor than the Copperhead at twice the tonnage. So yeah, definitely going to take the Mockingbird because increasing the ability, increasing the number of units we have on the board helps a lot more than any of the other things I was looking at would have. Now, would I have liked to, and would I still like to get the Quicksell Warfare Suite and the Max Shot Cannon in random salvage? Absolutely. But I think these are the highest priorities. Again, the reason for the Mockingbird is so that we have another unit we can start dropping immediately. And the Stealth X is because stealth. We'll get to it. And the machine gun, the reason that takes precedence over the others is because that saves us half a ton on the Locust, which potentially lets us armor the Locust up more. And also, this is a point where you can look in storage, and you can see that we have one part of a wheeled scout and one part of a dart, so we need all 4 parts of the Mockingbird. And components is actually interesting. That's a new thing. That wasn't previously there, but you can see we do not have max shot ammo. So, yeah. That's it. What do we get? We get 2 parts of the Copperhead, which is actually really cool, because that means if we get 2 parts of a Copperhead Mark II that isn't primitive, we could use those to combine to make a non-primitive Copperhead, which would have, as a result of not being primitive, would have more armor, just flat out. And also, you know, the weapons wouldn't be a heavy rifle. It would be probably an autocannon or something. And then we actually also got the entire Ripper. So that's pretty cool. We now have 2 VTOLs that we can add into our drops. We got an AC-10. We got the bomb clusters. Okay. That, I don't think we can do anything with that on the vehicles. So that's there in case we ever get a lamb. The heavy rifle, again, for the tonnage, it's not that bad. It's potentially usable. But the LRM-5 quick sell, I'm immediately selling. -3 accuracy on every shot. Direct or indirect, doesn't matter. Not worth it. Medium lasers, always good to have spare. Tandem rocket, interesting because it's 1.5 tons to potentially do 40 structure and 60 armor damage for a total of 100 damage in an alpha strike. Potentially just destroying for example, the 5 structure VTOL, excuse me, helicopter that we were shooting. Yeah, that's potentially a one-shot kill with the tandem rockets. But then again, it had so little armor that it would have been, well, from the front, tandem rockets would potentially kill it faster. Basic cockpit. So the reason why these are useful to have around at least one of is if you build a primitive mech, the primitive mech will come with a primitive cockpit, which you can then replace with a cockpit basic. And the biggest disadvantage to a primitive cockpit is there's no eject. So it's always good to have a cockpit basic lying around. Standard heat sinks, always good to have some sitting around just in case you need them. Single heat sink cooling. This, I think that it's unnecessary to ever keep single heat sink cooling. Because even primitive mechs come with single heat sinks basic, like standard, I think. So I think I'm going to sell that. Standard fusion engine. Again, the reason to keep one of these around, just one, you can sell the rest, but always keep one around in case you build a primitive mech, because you can replace the primitive engine with this and basically make it a regular mech, unless the engine gets destroyed, in which case you'll need to replace it again. We got the Stealth X structure. Don't quote me on that, but I think primitive mechs still come with standard structure. I know primitive armor is a thing. I don't think primitive... Well, then again, handheld rework. Primitive structure might now be a thing. Not sure. I'll keep it around just in case. And then we got the Warfare Suite. Amazing. AC-5 ammo, heavy rifle ammo, which is important if we're going to use the heavy rifle. So that's 12 shots. It's enough for basically, most missions. Yeah. So we did not get the mag shot cannon, but other than that, we got everything we wanted and more. Huzzah. Alright, as expected, only 10,000 C-bills and 5 days for repairs. Which, that 5 days is a little misleading because it does not take into consideration the mech bay working in tandem with, each other. But Locust is 1 day, Hornet is 2 day, Assassin is 1 day, Stealth is 2 day. So if we had both mech bays working at 100% efficiency, then that would actually be a 3 day repair instead of the 5 it said. But since we don't have both mech bays working at 100%, that's still 4 days. 2 days, 1 day, 2 days, 1 day would be 4 days. But again, we have the Bushwhacker, which is our highest priority for the next mission. And the Assassin's the lowest priority because it isn't ready for anything. The Stealth is the next highest priority. Then the Locust and Phoenix Hawk, which Bushwhacker will be done in 4 days. Half of that is Stealth, 2 days. So those two will be done in 4 days. The Phoenix Hawk and Locust will both then be finished 2 days later because working at 100%, working at 50%, etc., etc. And the automation upgrade is done in 6 days. So 4 days, 2 days, which means after all of those are finished, then we'll have Mech Bay 1 and 2 working at 100%, which will be perfect timing for us to drop on another mission. And as a result of dropping on that mission, we'll take damage, we'll need to repair it. We'll have the Hornet and Assassin still left to work on from this damage, but we'll have everything else, you know, whatever. It's good. It's good. Perfect timing. That filler mission was the perfect amount of damage to be ready in 6 days once automation's finished to drop on the bigger 1.5 skull mission. But before we do all that, we're going to go and look in the mech bay. We're going to specifically look in storage, and we're going to see these nice green markers here that show that we can build a Mockingbird and the Ripper. So let's start with the Mockingbird. When you have all 4 parts and they're the same chassis and the same type of that chassis, you don't have to pay anything to cobble them together. They just fit together nicely. And when it's a vehicle, you actually create it and you get the vehicle ready to drop in full, perfect working order immediately. And there we go. We have accurate weapon laser, so +1 accuracy with its medium lasers, which is amazing. And the bomb clusters, and it's zippy and has respectable armor. Then we have the VTOL Ripper. I'm going to build it in part to show the ECM pirate. But the other option, other than building whenever you have parts, is you can scrap them. You can click this button down here in the bottom right corner, and you can scrap off whatever parts you don't intend to ever use for C-bills. So you'll notice that the 4 parts we have could each scrap for 20,698. So altogether, that's 82 something like that. So it's like 82.4. Keep that in mind. Now we build the Ripper, and again, the Ripper is fully ready to drop, fully functional. But it has that one little quirky pirate ECM. Grants a penalty of 3 to enemy initiative and 1 resolve within 300 meters. Cannot enable stealth systems. Huh. Okay, they changed it. It no longer just creates a penalty for everyone in the area. It does specifically say enemy. So enemy initiative and resolve. That's not actually all that horrible. In any case, the 82.4, if you go to the store and they're in your vehicle bay, and you go to selling, you're not going to see them. But if you go to your vehicle bay and you click this button right here to send it to storage, you can then go to the store and you can sell it, and you'll notice it is about the same. Basically, if you were to have scrapped the vehicle parts, you would have gotten the same amount of value as actually building the vehicle and then selling it. That is specific to vehicles, because whenever you build a vehicle from the disparate parts, you get everything in the vehicle automatically put together and in perfect functioning order. That is not the same for mechs. We'll get to that once it comes time for us to start building some mechs. But if you decide to change your mind and you want to get that vehicle back, you can go to storage and you'll see instead of it saying parts X out of X, it's this Ripper VTOL quantity 1. And you can just click ready. And if it's a mech, it'll take 1 day. Oh, never mind. Vehicles also now take 1 day to ready. Huh. I wonder if I click the X, what happens? Does it just go back to... So, don't click the X while readying. I've never tried it before, so for science. We only lost like 82-4, but we did lose a vehicle that we could have theoretically dropped on a mission, so it's kind of a loss. I mean, actually, so engineering, we're already working on getting Mech Bay 2 up to 100%. We already know we need to work on getting our pilots out of fatigue. We have 6 days for our mechs, 9 days to the financial report, so I'm actually going to pass a couple days. And I'm going to look and see, and we'll talk about all this that just popped up in a later video. Let's go back to the Mech Bay. And did it? Nope, it's gone. It's gone forever. So yeah, if you're readying something, don't cancel the work on it. Because you will not get it back. That's funny. Luckily, again, it was only like 82.5 as far as C-bills go. Still, you know, a decent amount this early on, but I had to know. So, yes, don't cancel readying. When it's readying, just eventually do it. And yeah, so if we go to store... so if we look... Karnov Transport, Thumper... Artillery. That's another topic for another video. Vedette is actually a really reliable tank. 500 armor, 125 structure. Usually has fairly light weapon loadouts, but still respectable. The machine gun Blackwell, SRM2 Arian, and the AC2. Again, not super heavy on the weaponry, but it's respectable for the you know, tonnage that it has, and most importantly for the fact that it has so much armor. Vedettes are definitely damage soaks more than anything, compared to, you know, like the Karnov here, which is very lightly armored, but it has a thumper. So, yeah, I don't think there's anything else in the store to really talk about much at all. AC5 slug ammo. I mean, this is just what I've said before. It does a massive amount of stability damage, so that's it. Double stability damage in exchange for 90% of the damage to armor and half the damage to structure. Very much just a you want to knock somebody down kind of thing. So yeah, so there's nothing else really to talk about in the store. There is still the Mechwarrior and the barracks that we would love to hire. Not the barracks, the hiring hall. Narf, we would love to hire, specifically because, I mean, he can call down a mech reinforcement. That's super interesting. Super interesting. He's also Reckless Lucky, which is a great combination. But that means we would have to fire somebody because there's no way we're getting the second Argo pod up and running. And if we fire anyone who's giving us mech tech, like Bugbear here, our repair time will actually get worse. So, Technician or Bugbear, which is largely just there for, you know, mech tech. We're definitely not going to drop any of these 5. Yeah, I think Bugbear would actually be the one I chose to get rid of in order to make room. Then again, so +5 sight and sensors and -5% stability damage with the improved panic resist means Bugbear is actually a really good pick for specifically a support mech. You know, like something that's stacked up with electronic warfare and doesn't really have a whole lot in the way of weapons. That said, though, would I rather have Bugbear than Military Mechwarrior Technician? Because, I mean, that's not a ton compared to improved panic resist, bonus sight and sensors, and the minus stability damage taken. That said, Horik can pilot mechs and vehicles. Bugbear can only pilot mechs. But we're definitely not getting rid of Hellion. We're definitely not getting rid of Braver. And yeah, the rest of these, yeah, like we are keeping, obviously we're keeping our commander. You can't fire our commander. But like everyone down here is solid. Completely and totally solid. So it would definitely come down to Horik or Bugbear. And honestly, in the interest of dropping him on the next mission, I think we are going to take Narf, and I think we are going to replace Bugbear. Now, if we had training modules, then yeah, sure, we could, you know, consider trading off the repair time in exchange for getting Narf, like, what, 90 experience or whatever. But instead, since we don't have training modules, the only benefit is going to be whatever we get from the actual Mechwarrior themselves, which, in Narf's case, yeah, just the criminal possibly stealing mech C-bills from or for me. So there's no need to rush to get him, which means we can actually finish repairing the Bushwhacker, Stealth, Phoenix Hawk, and Locust. And then once they're all finished, and they're... No, stop. Okay. I did a thing there that's worth noting. Whenever you click to try to pause the timeline, but something pops up to stop the timeline, there's a chance that it keeps ticking because it auto-pauses whenever the thing pops up saying, hey, we're done in engineering. But if the click registers in the UI before it pops up, it will continue ticking. You can potentially hit the financial report, possibly go bankrupt, possibly lose the person you were trying to hire in the hiring hall, etc., etc. Luckily, nothing terrible happened. We just wasted a day or two, I think. But, yeah. We are able to go into the barracks, do exactly, I think, what I was talking about doing, firing Bugbear here. Again, Horik is able to pilot vehicles and tanks, and that makes him slightly more valuable. That, and also he has higher total skill points, yada yada yada, whatever. Like, it's mostly just that Bugbear can only pilot mechs, and Horik can pilot mechs and vehicles. And the replacement Mechwarrior can only pilot mechs. So we're going to dismiss Bugbear. There we go. Now we have a berth open, so we can go. And before the next mission, we can hire Narf. Boom. And we still have enough to cover the financial report, assuming we don't take more than 80,000 C-bills of damage. Which we might, because it's a 1.5 skull mission. But, hopefully, since it's early game and we're not dropping anything too powerful, too impressive, or, you know, too valuable, hopefully we make enough profit off the mission to not bankrupt. But we can now go look in the barracks, and we can check out Narf. Narf starts off 4423. But again, he has the ability to drop an additional mech. That's pretty cool. Also Lucky Reckless, so evasion ignore in addition to higher clustering and reduced jam chance. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So, with that, we're going to drop on a 1.5 skull mission with all of our best Mechwarriors available. But we're going to do that tomorrow. For now, that's been your episode of Roguetech for the day. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, have a good one.